Today on Drawbli,
we are talking about how I tricked myself into drawing.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Abby.
And we are self-taught artists documenting our journey of learning to draw, which is of course better with friends.
So click that subscribe button if you're new around here and share your artwork on Instagram with the hashtag Drawbli.
Alright, Abby, you tricked yourself into drawing?
Yes. So, as many people
Because it looks like you're drawing right here.
I am drawing, but I was only going to draw for a few minutes. I was only going to do a quick hair study. I was only going to just do the bare minimum. Doodle around, exactly.
Ooh, do the bare minimum. That's something that we've talked about with our habits before.
Yeah, it can be a good thing of just starting with just the bare minimum just to get yourself doing. And then, lo and behold, I found myself just having a fun time. Look at that fun little hair study there.
That looks awesome. That's super cool.
Yeah, I actually really liked how that turned out. And
I do too.
I just left it as a sketch because I thought that one looked better as a sketch than as a developed anything.
Yeah.
And then I was going to do kind of a similar thing with this upper piece here, but I think it was the cat.
I like the cat.
The cat convinced me to take this one a lot farther.
Hey, Abby. Draw me more.
Yeah.
It's me, the cat.
It's me, the cat. Draw more. Yeah, so I ended up drawing a lot more. Now, what's funny is at first, though, I really was just going to block it in simple colors, like with funny little brushes. I picked brushes at random with a lot of texture.
That's cool.
And I'm pretty sure for the sweater and the knees there, I barely go back and touch them the rest of the time. I spend so much time on the cat and the face trying to make those look right. And I was just happy with how the sweater looked.
So you're like, I'm going to do a hair study, but lo and behold, it was a cat hair study.
Yeah. Something like that. I think the thing I spent the most time on was her face.
As per usual.
Yes, that's how it goes. But I'm trying to incorporate little things I've been learning here and there. Like for her blush, I was pretty focused on, drawing it in bright red and fading that out.
Like me?
Yeah, like you. And then
Like I do?
I believe I also started to try to use this glazing method that I learned about in a YouTube video recently.
Ooh.
Where you do one base color and you create a new layer on top and set that layer to multiply. And you take your original base color and paint in your shadows on that multiply layer.
Okay.
As a quick method to just get a nice cohesive structure in.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't even remember if I was doing that yet at this point in the portrait. Even now, I think I intended this to be very quick. I wanted it to look stylized. I didn't want it to look like photo close at all.
Photo close?
Yeah.
Not even photorealistic. Not even photo close.
I feel like photorealistic would be too generous a term for what I do, even when I'm
we
trying.
Got cameras for photorealism. Come on.
Exactly. Like, it's cool when you see it, but it's like, man, I want a little more bang for my buck, I guess. But yeah, so I ended up spending over 3 hours on this little portrait, which is not
3 hours on a hair study.
Yeah, which is not a lot of time in the grand scheme of art, but for me at my level, that's a long time.
For you, at your level?
At my level?
3 hours? Might as well be 3 days.
It probably was 3 hours over the course of 3 days or something. Maybe 2. Just because, I gotta go to work.
I'm seeing a lot of improvements, like in your early stages of your process, where I feel like before, for something like this, you would do a little more of like the printer style, working from top to bottom, just like focusing on one area. But I can see that you've really started focusing on like getting all your basic stuff in first for just like, this is where the mouth is going to be, the nose, the eyes, the ears, and then you come back to them later and like continue to work on them.
Thank you. I think that's helping me a lot to try to get more things down at a basic level before finishing things out. Which is good because I did go in and modify her facial proportions quite a lot.
I really like the style that you have going on right now. There's like maybe some awkwardness in a couple areas, but it's a really cool style.
Yeah, I do too. I just felt like it was a little too lopsided in a lot of places. So
I saw you flipped your canvas.
Oh, I flipped my canvas quite a lot for this,
so
actually.
Proud.
Thank you. Yes.
And I do really like the texture on the sweater. That's so cool.
I know, it just kind of stood on its own from the get-go, so I left it be pretty much, I think, till the end. And a lot of it's just going in and doing the work. I feel like this
Just
is
doing the work.
this piece was a lot of doing the work, like where I'm like, okay, I may not be registering in my mind dramatic improvements here, but just by practicing this, whatever I'm practicing, even if it's not what I sat down to practice, I'm improving. I'm getting better in little ways, little by little by little.
So you don't mean like the grand scheme of things, like you're not seeing improvements in that, or do you mean like you're not seeing improvements in this particular piece? You feel like you're just like noodling.
The grand scheme of things.
Okay.
Yeah. But also, I mean, this piece, I'm like, I'm moving it along. It's progressing. I'm just practicing little key movements here and there to try to bring it to the next level.
Look at these lines on this cat. Abby, when lines tutorial?
Yeah.
When are we gonna get that juicy Abby lines tutorial?
Man. I actually, looking back,
we're all waiting.
Really like how the cat looks initially. I think if this was a very simple like illustration, I would have been happy to leave the cat looking kind of like this.
Yeah, he's cute.
He's very cute.
I like it.
But I do go in and try to make it look a little bit more like the photo, and in doing that, I make it look less like the photo.
Oh.
I think. But no, I like this version of the cat a lot.
I do like this version of the cat. We do, when we started Drawbli, way back when, 18 months ago or so, we did a lot more animals. Mm-hmm. We've been focusing on portraits so much, which I'm really happy about because I think that's like something that we're both very interested in and both want to improve in, and it's like the most interesting thing for us to do right now. Mm-hmm. However, looking at this cat, I'm like, man, I gotta draw me a cat.
Yeah.
I think I've only done like one cat on Drawbli.
I've done a whole video that was just cats.
Like 15 cats in one.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's a lot of cats.
It was a good time.
I'm trying to remember what the last animal I did was. There was the cow, and I completely failed on the cow. So I was like, I'm done with animals for a while.
You did not fail on the cow. I did some cows too. Cows are so fun. They look so sweet with their pretty eyes.
I should do another animal.
You could do capybaras like I did the one time. That was a popular sound on TikTok for a minute. Capybara.
Yeah, capybara. But that sound came out way after you drew the capybaras, so you were kind of like ahead of the curve.
I was on the forefront of capybara interest. In fact, in that video, I go back to the roots of my capybara interest, which was a children's book from my significant youth.
So I remember seeing the first capybara video, the capybara, and I sent it to you. I was like, this is the next big thing, a capybara talk. I'm telling you, This is where all the cool people are gonna be. And like the next week was all capybaras everywhere.
Oh my gosh, it was.
And then like the next week, capybaras were gone forever.
Yeah,
we're moving on. Now it's gecko talk.
Is it gecko talk now?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I don't know what's next. No one knows.
I love how on TikTok one animal is like the animal of the month. The highlighted, it was Berzois. It's been.
Oh
capybaras.
yeah, no, Berzois were.
Yeah.
I feel like Berzois are still like a little bit of a thing, but the let me do it for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is apparently from Kermit and Miss Piggy.
Yeah, like the Muppets.
Mm-hmm. What's the other one? There's the Muppets and
Sesame Street?
I don't know. I never watched either, so I'm very uneducated when it
no.
comes to Muppets. Is Cookie Monster a Muppet?
I am not going to get into this.
Is Oscar the Grouch a Muppet?
I can't remember if Jim Henson created the Sesame Street's cast and then divested into a specific line of the Muppets, so I couldn't tell you for sure.
Okay.
But
I do know that all the ones I just said are not Muppets. But
no.
Hold on, this one I don't actually know. Is the Swedish chef from
a Muppet? Yes.
He's that is Muppet?
Muppets. Yes.
It is. Okay, I actually didn't know that one.
Okay.
All right.
Good. That's okay. I don't know much about Dragon Ball Z. We all have to know things about some things.
I guess.
Yeah, I know you think it's unforgivable that I don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z.
It's like not knowing who, like, Mickey Mouse is, though.
I've
Like,
forgiven
you don't know
myself.
who Goku is. That's like, that's a little unforgivable. There's like a million Muppets, and Muppets were popular like 40 years ago.
Yeah, and they were funny and they did jokes all the time and they had their flippy floppy heads. Goku's not doing
Goku
any
does
of that.
jokes. does.
No, he
he's-
just
does
charges up
stand-up.
a ball for like
Charges up a ball?
for,
Wow.
like,
that's
ever.
Very reductive.
Yeah, well,
But also very accurate.
I know. I cannot imagine. I think I caught like half an episode of Dragon Ball Z in my youth, and I was like, that was the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life.
Only because you didn't watch the next 30 episodes where he finishes charging up his big ball.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Of all the things I wasted time on in my youth, that was not one of them, and I'll say that proudly. I don't care.
That's okay. Dragon Ball Z, it's not for everybody, and I don't even know if it's for me. But the Muppets, they might have been for me.
The Muppets were for me. I did like the Muppets.
I might have missed my Muppet calling. What are you doing to your cat with this shading? Is this just like light and shadow?
I duplicated the cat's layer and dropped the saturation on the second layer, and then erased out the saturation or the desaturation or the darkness. I think I darkened that layer to make more like a contrast in his lights and shadows. And then I went back in and just kind of undid all that, but what you gonna do?
I did all this stuff and then I removed it entirely.
Yes.
Ooh, I like what you're doing here with the perspective.
Thank you.
Very nice. Getting a perspective grid.
I borrowed my sister's book on interior design perspective.
Oh.
So, you know, that's
Tell me, what did you learn?
I learned about 3 pages worth of material.
And what did you take away? What secrets of interior design perspective?
I didn't take away any secrets. They're in the book. It's public.
Okay. Well, so what did you learn perspective-wise?
There was something about like deciding where you're standing in the room of question to be drawn. It had a lot about like laying out a floor plan like you would see if you were looking at houses or apartments, and then dropping lines from that down, and then from that you can create a well-measured rendition of the room from an interior perspective.
Fascinating.
Well, you asked. Obviously, I was dodging the question for a reason.
I see you've gone heavy into the saturation here on your character and done noise.
I know. I think the noise was way too much, but everybody who's cool does noise, and I wanted to be cool.
I can tell.
And then I wanted to be really cool like the noisy people.
Well, I can see that you reduced some of the saturation here at the end, and I really like this. That looks awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a blast to create and a hair study that turned out to be a full portrait, not a bad trade.
And if you would like to trick yourself into drawing more, click that like and subscribe button.
And share your work on Instagram with the hashtag Drawbli, because drawing is better with friends.
And this is the part where we say
goodbye.
Goomba. This cat's eyes just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
The best cats always do.